Can you sponsor your niece or your nephew to Canada? Before I answer this question, please subscribe to our channel and enable notifications. The Immigration Act does not define who a niece or a nephew is. However, based on the common knowledge and an English dictionary, niece is the daughter of your brother, your sister, your brother-in-law, or your sister-in-law, and nephew is the son of your brother, your sister, your brother-in-law, or your sister-in-law. If you want to sponsor your niece or nephew to Canada, you need to consider this. In a sponsorship application for immigration, we have a sponsor and we have an applicant. Let's focus on the sponsor first. You are an eligible sponsor for a sponsorship application for your niece or nephew if you meet all these requirements. The first one is that you are a permanent resident of Canada or a Canadian citizen. You are at least 18 years old, you reside in Canada, you have no debt to the federal government of Canada or provincial governments, you are not an undischarged bankrupt, you are not under a removal order or a proceeding is going on to remove you from Canada, you have not any convictions in the area of domestic violence, sexual violence, and significant violence or similar issues, you are ready to sign the undertaking agreement, and also you financially meet the requirements of sponsorship to Canada, among other things. A couple of those issues are important. For example, the undertaking issue. It means that when you sponsor your niece or nephew, then you sign an undertaking and you're obliged to accept that undertaking for a period of 10 years. This means that from the time that your niece or nephew lands in Canada, you are financially responsible for them for 10 years. And if they refer to the government of Canada for social assistance, then that will be your debt to the government of Canada. There is no way you can change the duration of undertaking. Also keep that in mind, 10 years is the default period, depending on whether they have dependent family members or not, and their age, the exact duration could slightly vary. The other issue that you need to know is about the fact that you need to be a lonely sponsor. Who is a lonely sponsor? A lonely sponsor is someone who doesn't have any other person who is eligible for a sponsorship. Here are the people that you could by default sponsor to Canada. Your parents, your grandparents, your spouse or common law partner or conjugal partner, your children. So if you have a child, a spouse, a common law partner, a conjugal partner, a parent, or a grandparent, then regardless of whether they are Canadian citizens, permanent residents of Canada, whether they reside in Canada or outside Canada, or if they are foreign nationals, then you cannot sponsor your niece or your nephew. The other issue is that if you already have any of the following family members that are permanent residents of Canada or citizens of Canada, then you cannot sponsor your niece or nephew. The family members who have a status in Canada as permanent residents or Canadian citizens and make you eligible to sponsor your nieces or nephew include your brother, your sister, your uncle, your aunt, your niece, and your nephew. In other words, if you have any of those people that they are already permanent residents of Canada or Canadian citizens, unfortunately, you cannot sponsor your niece or nephew. One of the other issues that you need to know about a sponsorship is that you need to meet the minimum necessary income. The minimum necessary income for sponsoring your niece or nephew is 1 year of income. For example, if you're sponsoring your niece or nephew in 2021, then your income in 2020 needs to meet the minimum necessary income. That income could be verified by line 150 of your notice of assessment. If you don't have your notice of assessment, you can rely on your pay stubs, earning statements, etc. But I do not recommend it because nowadays the immigration officers prefer to see the notice of assessment. The amount that you need to have depends on your number of family members in your household and the number of people you are sponsoring. For example, if you are one person, you are absolutely lonely and you're sponsoring a niece who doesn't have a child or a spouse, then you are two people and you need to meet the minimum necessary income based on LICO table for two people. I have another video about LICO. I will post it up here. I also have an article with the LICO tables. I will post the link down below. If you do not qualify as a sponsor, don't get disappointed. There is a chance that you could sponsor your niece or nephew under humanitarian and compassionate considerations. I will explain it later on during this video. What about the applicant? So the applicant is your niece or nephew. They need to be foreign nationals. It means they are not permanent residents of Canada or Canadian citizens. And they also need to be admissible to Canada. Inadmissibility to Canada could be for several reasons. I have another video about inadmissibility. I will post it up here. Let's assume that you do not meet the requirements as a sponsor, or for some reason your niece or nephew doesn't meet the requirements as a person to be sponsored. In those situations, you could consider sponsoring your niece or nephew under another program called Humanitarian and Compassionate Considerations, which falls under Section 25 of the Immigration Act. Basically, if there are significant humanitarian reasons, for example, the best interest for a child, hardship, establishment in Canada, attachment to Canada, etc., then in those situations, you could consider HNC as an alternative option to sponsor your niece or nephew. This is a difficult process, and unfortunately the refusal rates for humanitarian and compassionate applications are high, so consider consulting with a professional in terms of HNC applications. Sometimes your niece or nephew has family members. For example, they have a spouse or common law partner, or they have dependent children. You can also include them in the application, assuming that you meet the requirements such as the minimum necessary income and all other requirements that I explained before. However, this means that you also are responsible for the undertaking of those people as well. So you need to sign the undertaking for all the family members of your niece or nephew. And also, if one of those family members is inadmissible to Canada, then the whole family, including your niece or nephew, become inadmissible to Canada. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to know more details about sponsoring your niece or nephew, I have a detailed article on this subject. I will post the link down below. Please subscribe to our channel, enable notifications, like this video, and share it with your friends. My name is Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant with 10 years of experience as an immigration consultant. I teach immigration consulting at Ashton College. I'm the author of the bestseller book, 88 Tips on Immigration to Canada. You can visit 88tips.ca to find out about your purchasing options. See you soon.